Hello and welcome to Horror Rewind. This is Kelly Florence,
And I'm Meg Hofdahl.
and today we're talking about Antlers. How are you, Meg? What's your week been like?
Good, busy.
Yeah.
A very busy week, but I'm not complaining. I kind of like being busy. It gives me more excuse, like just sort of an inner excuse to lay down and do nothing and watch movies then at the end of the
day. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, I agree. I always say I would rather be busy than bored, and lately I have definitely not been bored. So I'll take it.
Yeah. I've been traveling a lot, which has been really nice, and working and just, it just getting back into the swing of things. It feels good.
Oh, good. Yeah, I agree. Like I thought, I mean, and we've talked about it on the podcast. There was a time period where it's like, oh, this is going to keep going on forever. And not that the pandemic has ended, but I feel like life is definitely resuming some normalcy, if that, I mean, or a new normal anyway. Because like you said, we are able to travel. We are going to attend this weekend the Renegade Film Festival, and we'll record on it and let you know about all the awesome horror movies and horror content that we saw there. But speaking of which, before I forget, if you're around Marietta, Atlanta, Georgia area, come, and we're going to be signing books on Saturday. So in a couple of days, if you happen to be in the area, stop by and see us.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. The Renegade Festival. I always want to say Renegade Comedy.
Oh yeah, because that's Duluth.
But the Renegade Festival was formerly the Women in Horror Film Festival, which we have really enjoyed going to in the past. So it'll be interesting to see how the festival's changed, but also see some familiar faces.
Yeah.
So that'll be nice. And yeah, as to what you were saying before, like, I feel like obviously the pandemic's still going on. COVID is still serious and it needs to be taken seriously. But I think humans are very good at adapting, and it's been a huge learning curve. But I feel like we're starting to figure out like how to be, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. Now, what we're going to be talking about today, I didn't even tell you. Did I say it? I don't know, listeners.
You did. I think you said Antlers, but you know what?
We're talking about Antlers, and this movie just last week was nominated for a Bram Stoker Award for Best Screenplay, Horror Screenplay, along with Mike Flanagan for Midnight Mass and Fear Street, and Jordan Peele and Nia DaCosta for Candyman, and I can't remember the fifth one for some reason. But anyway, it's been a good year for horror.
It has. I mean, I feel like we keep saying that because really the last several years, maybe our whole life has been a good year for horror. Like, I mean, I'm not choosy.
Yeah.
There's some years that maybe didn't have quite as good, but even those years, at least there was some horror content.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not like a year went by without it.
That's true.
So I'm a fan. I'm a fan of it all.
I think maybe what I should say is just horror just keeps getting better.
It does. It really does. And on the flip side, on the Stoker noms were books, and I was happy to see My Heart is a Chainsaw and many other great books on there. So that I've read and that I want to read. So I have some work to do to catch up with all those nominations.
It's a good problem to have.
Mm-hmm.
So Antlers, it was supposed to come out in the theaters last winter, I remember, but it was pushed. We didn't end up seeing it in the theater. I know it was released in the theater this year, but I watched it streaming. HBO, was it, Meg?
Yeah, HBO. Yeah, I think it did release in the theaters, but sometimes you just want to stay at home and watch it under a blankie.
Yeah, and so I will say we are going to get into spoilers, and we'll rank it at the end, but it sounds like, and we haven't talked about it yet, but it sounds like I enjoyed it more than you did.
I think so, which I think is going to make for an interesting episode, because I'm kind of excited to hear what you think. Maybe you're not excited to hear what I think, but I'm interested to sort of hear your thoughts and perspective.
So I think I love the premise. I thought is it technically a Wendigo?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I love, obviously I love that lore and legend, and we wrote about it in our book, The Science of Stephen King. And I love Carrie Russell. I think she's amazing, and I would watch her read the phone book. So that being
So
said,
those are the pluses.
yeah,
There's a
and
lot
I
of
thought, I mean, and I
pluses.
felt, oh God, I felt so sad for this boy who has this burden of taking care of his brother and father. And then it just made me feel so many things, like real things about children who really are neglected and are sort of lost in the system of, people aren't paying attention. And is he eating okay? Is he getting his clothes washed? Like, is he doing his homework? And there's nobody there to help. Like, that's so heartbreaking. And that's where the true horror lay for me.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it did a really good job, obviously, of exposing and talking about those things. And just like any good horror, it has that, layer to it. I think for me, I first of all think Kerry Russell's awesome. I think the acting in this movie is excellent. I
Oh yeah,
think
Jesse
Jesse
Plemons, I love
Plemons,
him.
yeah, he's great. I mean, you've got this, it has the makings of things I really like, which is she is this very complicated female, obviously, and I love how they do these subtle things, like she just looks at the alcohol in the store
And you don't have to say anything.
yeah, there's never talk about it. She doesn't like end up even getting alcohol and guzzling it. So I mean, we just see her kind of have this sort of strange or strained relationship with alcohol, which I thought was very well done and subtle. The atmosphere is obviously very effective. I think for me, one of the things I didn't like about it was I could tell right away I wasn't going to have any fun.
Oh, well, that's true.
And
I'm sorry to make you watch
no,
it.
that's okay. No, I'm glad I watched it. But you know what I mean? It's one of those horror movies you're like, okay, this is serious business.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's totally okay. And I love tons of movies that are serious horror movies. But I think that maybe I've like just been more in the mood for like the freaky type movies and the werewolves within type movies, and I wasn't quite. It's all about expectation, like
That's
I
true.
say that every episode, but I just wasn't quite prepared, I think. And for me, just like with you, it's like the whole thing with the little boy is absolutely heartbreaking. And it was like, wow. And not only that, but we're getting into her abuse story, and that was like really tragic and upsetting.
Yeah.
So it was like kind of put me in that very like, whoa, upset place. I also, well, two things. I was like, as I was watching this, I'm like, this, and I'm saying this because I felt like, and I'm curious to hear what you think. I felt like the effects weren't the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, I said to myself, I'm like, this would be such an amazing book.
Oh.
This is a book to me, not a movie. And so I looked it up, and it's based on a short story by Nick Anticosta, who
yeah.
made Channel Zero.
Yes, I know that name.
Yes, and I absolutely love Channel Zero. And I was like, okay, that makes sense as based on a short story to me, because it just had the feeling of that. And I feel like I would have actually enjoyed it more in that form.
Well, I feel like they could have shown less and that it would have been more effective, perhaps.
Maybe that's my like sort of way of saying that. Yeah, because it's like I felt like there was obviously creepy parts, but I felt like they showed too much, and it wasn't to the level at which I wanted it to be. I know I'm being really hard on this movie right now, but I mean, I'm just being honest. And then my only other complaint, as much as I love Kerry Russell, I felt like her character should have been Indigenous.
No, that's true. That's definitely true. Yeah, I agree. And I was thinking when we were watching it, because I watched it with Campbell, and it was sort of like a teaching moment, and we talked about, the things that this boy went through, and we talked about some, you and I just really recently watched, not that it's the same, but the Turpin documentary about the Turpins who had been abused. But it reminded me of that, and like that these real like horror things that are happening, and we all need to, if you see something, say something and do better, to help the children. My God.
Well, and I love that it wasn't like your typical mother and son. This was about a teacher who has her own trauma, and she recognizes trauma in this boy, and I thought that was really poignant and really cool and made for like interesting character dynamics, especially like her and her brother have very interesting dynamics. And again, everything's done really subtly. The script is written well in the sense that, you know, they're not like shoving it down your throat. They're giving you these little signs. And again, also good acting.
Yeah.
So, you know, for me, it was kind of a mixed bag because I enjoyed things about it. I found it compelling. I mean, I love a creature, but in the end, there were just some things that kind of messed with me a little bit and kind of held me back from fully enjoying it, I think.
You know, and for expectation wise, I was the opposite. I went in thinking, oh no, like I don't know if this might be bad. And not that I've only actually been seeing people say good things about it.
Yeah.
So that, but I'm like, well, just sometimes I'm like a contrarian, and if a bunch of people love something, I'm like, well, it can't be good. But no, I actually enjoyed it, and I guess we were in the right mood when we watched it, where it, you know, some of those things,
and that's okay,
that bothered you didn't bother me as much. But I do agree. I think it might have been more effective to show less and be a little more subtle.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like the creature a couple of times, I was just like, meh. I did like the dead bodies though.
Oh yeah,
they were cool. Like these husks, I did like that. And I mean, like I said again, the acting, like even the little kid.
Oh yeah,
sometimes little kid acting is not great, but he was really impressive.
No, he was good.
So for me, it was a mixed bag. I definitely wouldn't like tell somebody don't watch this movie, but I also wouldn't be like,
run out and watch it right now.
Right.
Like I told you.
Right. But that's okay because we're different people.
Yeah. But also I always give you assignments for this podcast. So
I do. You do. But you know what? That's because I'm too unorganized to give you assignments. So,
but I also am a teacher, so I give us I give homework.
So you just yes. And I did a really good job watching it. I think.
There you go.
I think I did a great job watching it. Cookie was with me, and I'm pretty sure I had a snack, probably a bowl of Cheerios. That's usually what I eat at night. So I think
she's a regular wild woman, y'all. You heard it here.
Yep.
No, that's good. I think that's how you should enjoy or watch a movie. Well, let's rank this before we move on a scale of 0 to 10. 0 being you hated it, 10 being you think it's a perfect movie. The scale, I don't know what it's called, but remember the thing that they had hanging on the door, like of the room upstairs, like
the lock. Well, there's the lock,
but wasn't there like a satchel of something? Like I don't know.
Oh, and then he was so sad. He was like bringing his brother food. His brother was like sick with the same thing, and it was so sad.
And like, oh my God. And I was like, at the end, I'm like, are they gonna kill a kid? Anyway, what are we gonna?
They did.
I know.
That was fucked up.
Yeah. What are we gonna? What's our scale? Let's not do that satchel because we don't remember what it was.
What about
glowing, pulsing, whatevers?
Oh yeah, because she like took his heart out at the end. It was like, yeah, that was pretty cool.
So let's do that.
Okay.
How many do you give?
I'm gonna give it 6. I thought it was good, but I was kind of like hoping for just like a little bit more, and maybe I just wasn't quite in the mood to like face child poverty and neglect on like a Saturday night, you know?
No, that's
not fair. I shouldn't fault the movie, but sometimes it's just like, you know, just I wasn't feeling it.
No, that's fair. I'm gonna give it an 8. I enjoyed it, and we wouldn't do this if we were in the movie theater, but Campbell and I talked, you know, a lot and reacted a lot vocally throughout it and talked about different issues. So it was like a conversation starter for us. And
well, it
was fun. I mean, not fun. It wasn't a fun movie.
Well, but there are fun parts in it.
Yeah. And it's fun to, you know, share art with someone else.
It is. You know what it made me think of is the Stephen King short story about the beer.
Yeah.
The where the boy is bringing home the beer to his dad, and like it's hitting on the same kind of issues, and it has a similar type like creature, and made me think of that. And they made it, and I think it was the first Creep Show episode,
Yep.
right?
And we wrote about it in our book, The Science of Stephen King.
We sure
And
did.
one of the lines from it says that the dad is craving warm beer. There must be something wrong with him. If you're not in the middle place, why are you drinking warm beer?
Exactly. And watching Cannonball Run 2 or 3 or something. Isn't that what they watch there?
Yes.
What would be your middle place? For me, this is my middle place movie.
Oh, Meg.
Like, because it's fine to me. So I'd be like, okay, what would be
but
your
you don't want to
middle,
watch it over and over.
what would be your middle place horror movie?
Oh, it has to be a horror movie?
Yeah. Like
That's a good
horror movie
question.
that's like fine.
Well, I don't know.
I put you on the spot.
I know.
You're gonna.
I
think
know
of something
because
later.
because everything I come up with, someone's gonna at me for it. So I'm
well,
not even gonna say it.
I've already put my tits on the line about Antlers.
I'd rather you get hung up to dry than me. I'm too sensitive.
Okay, fair.
I can't do it with horror friends. I'm sorry.
Fair. You guys, I'll tell you what she tells me after. I'll tweet it,
and then you'll block me so I can't see it.
Yeah.
Oh well, listen. We, like I said, are going to record on some of the horror content that we watched this weekend while we're in Atlanta and Marietta, to be more exact. And then we'll be back with who even knows. Every week I say, God knows what, because guess what? We used to have a plan. We used to have like a 3-month plan. And now we're like, you got never let the party die. Let's just see what we're going to watch.
We just fly by the seat of our pants.
And also, like, we're so darn busy. We just got to do what we got to do when we got to do it.
Exactly.
And I'm not complaining. I'm just saying.
I think you're allowed to say you're busy. It's okay.
Okay. Don't at me for saying I'm busy. Just kidding. I'm not that sensitive. People will think I'm what? I don't know.
I don't know.
We don't even know what's going on anymore. Oh, guess I do know something that's going on. In a couple of weeks, Minnesota listeners, if you're in the Twin Cities area, come out for our secret movie night in Plymouth, Minnesota at the Imagine Willow Creek Theater. It's super fun. It's $10. It includes a small popcorn. And you don't get to know what the movie is until it starts. We'll be there to introduce it and to do a Q&A after. So join us.
And we know what the movie is.
We know what the movie is. We picked it.
So you definitely want to come. Trust us.
So yeah, 7 p.m. Wednesday, March 23rd in Plymouth, Minnesota. You can buy tickets on their website. So do it. Meg, what else do you have to say?
It's not going to be Antlers.
I don't think we're even supposed to say what it's not going to be now. People, no, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. But obviously we're not playing that because why would Meg pick it?
I didn't hate it that much, but now see, like 10 years from now, we're going to remember this as like Meg hated Antlers. I didn't hate it. It's just, I think the best way to describe it is it would be in my middle place.
No, and that's fair. That's fair. Okay, listen, we got to run because we got to go. But until next time, we'll see you in the horror section.